And there we hear perhaps just a small indication of her vocal health history.
Sound check.
G'day, welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan, and today we are reviewing the wonderful voice of Hayley Williams. And she's fronting the band Paramore, as many of you will be aware. And this is a performance of a song called Last Hope from back in 2014. It is a live performance. It is a live vocal. But I'm fairly confident to suggest that there's some post-edit work that has been done to refine the vocal in post. Completely industry standard, completely acceptable, not suggesting anything untowards. It's just important for us to acknowledge that what we're hearing, I think, has been refined in post. The other thing I want to acknowledge too is that Hayley, and this is going to be, I think, be an important feature of what we're going to listen to, Hayley has had a history of vocal fold damage. Now, this was reported back in 2009. She herself has spoken about the fact that during tour she developed and had a soft, what she refers to as a soft nodule, identified and diagnosed by a laryngologist. And the interesting thing about that is it only appeared on one vocal fold. Now, typically, vocal nodules will be bilateral. That is, they will appear on both sets of vocal folds, both right and left, opposing each other, and they'll appear in the third portion of the vocal fold. She reports it was only one side, and there are other reports that suggest that it might have been a polyp. Regardless, she has rehabilitated her voice in team with her singing teacher, Ron Anderson. Kudos to both of them, because having traveled that journey with many singers, it's an incredibly challenging journey to travel, and the singer needs to be very brave, not just to see the voice be once again healthy and clean and sustainable, efficient, but also to be able to abandon themselves to full vocal use once again. And that's what we're going to see in this performance. This was done 5 years after the fact. This is around about 2014, the song Last Hope that we're about to watch. And it's a real testament to Hayley's bravery and character and guts as a performer that she's just able to completely abandon herself to full performance. And so let's dive in and really appreciate this singer, because she's pretty cool.
This next song is called Last Hope. I don't even know myself at all. I thought I would be happy by now, but the more I try to push it, I realize gotta let go of control.
We can recognize straight up, can you hear that clean, clear tone? A damaged voice, a voice that has nodules currently in play, will typically really struggle to create clean tone. It will often be it'll have a breathy edge to it. The range will be restricted, and transitions through registers will be quite challenged as well. We don't hear any evidence of that in this healthy, clean, fully functional voice. Again, real credit to her and a singing teacher.
Gonna let it happen. Gonna let it happen. Gonna let it happen.
Such a cool sound, Paramore. I love it.
Gonna let it happen. And it's just a spark, but it's enough to keep me going.
It's interesting, isn't it? Remember I was talking about there's some post-edit work going on here, and there's some really, I think, really artistically appropriate choices being made in post-edit to kind of, fade in and out through, what is a refined vocal to this completely live audio vocal, which I think we just heard.
And when it's dark out, no one's around, it keeps growing. Put your cell phones in line.
perhaps just a small indication of her vocal health history. Have a listen to that again, and then we'll talk about it. You'll hear the voice almost like slip a little. It's almost like the voice just slips on the tone. Have a listen to the way she talks.
Put your cell phones and lighters up high.
Here it is.
Chicago!
Oh! Now, what I've found typically with singers who have had a history of vocal health challenges is we're able to establish generally with many concerns that face singers from a vocal health issue, establish full voice. That doesn't always mean that the voice then performs flawlessly. Sometimes there'll just be small little artifacts, little remnants of the impact of that vocal health issue. I cannot categorically say that that's what we heard just then. It could just simply be that she overdrove the voice and it just slipped a bit. That well could be the case as well. But there's further little moments throughout the performance where we just every now and then hear some, what I think are wonderful little imperfections as we go along. And it's human. It's great. What she's being really clever with is the way she's placing. Notice that, and you'll hear this throughout the rest of the piece, notice how she places consistently. She knows exactly where to position her tone, and placement is such a big part of efficient singing. And when we get efficient placement, that is consistent placement, the voice is able to just go there, and you're able to just apply the right amount of what's called phonatory threshold flow in team with phonatory threshold pressure and pinpoint it each time. And when we do that, we're not guessing. We're able to just consistently, repeatedly put the voice in the right spot, and that's exactly what Hayley is doing throughout this performance.
It's just a spark, but it's enough to keep me going. And when it's dark out, no one's around. It keeps going. It's just a spark, but it's enough to keep me going.
Hear that?
And when it's dark out, no one's around. It keeps going. And the salt in my wounds isn't burning any more than it used to.
Now, one thing we do have to be careful when we're establishing that really consistent placement. One thing we've got to be very careful of, and I think we're riding the line in this performance, is when we get really consistent placement, we have to be really particular about our articulation, because what happens is that consistency of placement will almost smooth out our articulation, the diction of lyric. And when we do that, the ear can kind of struggle to identify the exact lyrical content. We can hear lyrical content, really distinct words within this. There's no question about that. But every now and then, we're just hearing some smoothing out, if you will, of some of the consonants, and as a result, it's a little bit harder at times to fixate onto the lyric. You let me know in the comment section below whether it's just me or whether you also can hear just that smoothing out of the lyric.
It's not that I don't feel the pain, it's just I'm not afraid of hurting anymore.
No problems with the lyric there, of course. It's when we get up a little bit higher.
And the blood in these veins isn't pumping any less than it ever has. You sing this line with me loud,
Yeah.
and that's the hope I have. The only thing I know is
Remember I was talking about her being brave? Some of the areas that a singer will struggle to re-establish that sense of confidence within the voice after vocal concerns is around vocal effects. So things like glottal stroking, hard onsets, these sorts of really effective vocal effects. Have a listen. She's pulling out all stops. She's actually making sure she's putting all the coloring in, giving us all the effects to really create vocal interest. Have a listen, and you'll hear this glottal stroking at the beginning of the phrase.
and the blood in these veins isn't pumping any less than it ever has. You sing this line with me loud, and that's the hope I have. The only thing I know is keeping me alive.
Hear that?
Chicago, let's go! Gonna let it happen. Gonna let it,
Great performer.
gonna let it happen.
See how she fills the stage? She's a small girl. There's not a lot of her, but she's fully filling the stage.
Gonna let it happen. Gonna let it,
Right.
gonna let it happen. Gonna let it happen. That's just a spark, but it's enough to keep me going. So if I let go of control now, I can be strong. Arms around, let kiss go away. And it's just a spark, but it's enough to keep me going. So if I keep my
I love that.
clothes with the blind.
It's such an effective little thing to do. Just cover your eyes, give indication to the lyric, and that's just very clever performance. She is a really seasoned performer, and that's what we have to always remember with great singing. It's not just about the quality of the voice. It's also actually a bigger part, it could be argued, is the actual delivery of that voice, the presentation, the framing of that voice, and that comes back to stagecraft. She's A class. Her ability to hold a massive audience on a stage like she is, second to none.
Arms around, let kiss go away.
And that ending is a real testament to the very nature of what I was talking about. Her vocal health is in perfect tact, because the ability for the voice to come down after having been so big in performance and still establish clean, healthy vocal line. Again, a real testament to her teacher, Ron Anderson, and to Hayley herself, who has travelled the very challenging but very rewarding road of vocal recovery, full vocal recovery. I hope you've enjoyed today's vocal analysis. Yeah, we focused in on vocal health today with that one, but I hope it encourages you, should you ever fall into vocal disrepair yourself, don't see that as the end of the road. Vocal issues can be overcome. They can be worked through. There are so many wonderful techniques and therapies that we employ now to reestablish your vocal health. And I want you to know that not is all lost. You can reestablish your voice. I hope you've enjoyed today's vocal analysis, a slightly different one. We do these analyses all the time, so we'd love for you to join our ever-growing community here at Voice Essentials. Subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and any suggestions you might have for other vocal analyses other singers that you'd like me to do a review of. I very much look forward to reading your comments. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.